welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, we're doing part 3 to the story I covered a couple weeks ago, which was titled, My Wife Tried to Trick Me into a Post-Nup / Open Marriage. Instead, I Tricked Her into a Divorce. As a very brief recap, that's about the guy. He's about 31 years old, I think. He and his wife married a few years ago, not too long. And out of nowhere, she was asking him to suddenly do a post-nuptial agreement, as well as convince him of an open marriage. And this blindsided the guy, as you can imagine. But eventually he found out that A, his wife was already cheating, and cheating with her boss, what a cliche. And she wanted to get him to give her $100,000 to invest in a new company. She was going to start with her boss, and pretty much this is going to boil down to them starting a new company. They had the post-nup agreement, and then this guy, she can divorce him, and he wanted to get a cent out of the whole thing. But the guy finds proof that she's cheating, all that, and he ended the story kicking her out. And now he's meeting with the lawyer, and is going to foil all her plans against her a-hole boss, all that type of thing. And here we are in the part 3, and you're going to see more details going on here. That was a pretty entertaining one, so I'm going to just pick up where things left off. And again, if you guys didn't see part 1 and 2, go back and watch them. Definitely entertaining. And you can jump in here for part 3. It says, hello SSM. Thanks again for reading and commenting on my story. As a quick review of what happened so far, my wife Julie and I are 31 years old. We've been married for 3 years. We are divorcing. My wife works as a real estate agent for a property management company. She has had a long-term affair with her coworker Mia, about our age, and with her boss Richard. Richard is in his late 30s. Richard's wife Jackie features prominently in this update. She's probably 34 or 35 years old. Jackie divorced Richard for infidelity after she discovered his affair with Mia. Their divorce was final last summer. Richard and Jackie co-own the property management company my wife Julie works for. And as you all recall, Richard was taken to the cleaners in the divorce, and it could have happened to a nicer guy. It's the one time where a guy, I have no problem him getting hammered in the divorce because how much of a D-bag he is. My brother-in-law Zach found out that his wife, both late 20s, had a long-term boyfriend. His wife is my wife's sister. Who are these people? Zach's wife promised to end things with her boyfriend, and Zach took her back. Before I threw Julie out, she told me that her sister was still seeing the boyfriend. I told Zach, and he's now come to his senses and is divorcing his wife. Well, hallelujah. Julie wants to invest in a new property management company that Rich is opening with Mia. She needs $100,000 to invest, but since she won't own stock in the company, it will be a gift to Richard. Julie believes this gift will eventually buy her a 25% stake in the company. Fat chance, honey. He's going to take the money and you'll never see him again. Her plan was to tell me it was a gift, so the stock would be solely in her name. Something that she thought she could hide from me, her secret nest egg. I refused to let her give the money to Richard at all. Julie told me that the marriage counselor, her sister, and Zach who were seeing was advising Zach that he should not only tolerate but encourage his wife's infidelity. Yeah, their so-called marriage counselor was pretty much encouraging an open marriage and how wonderful it will be, and he owes it to her, blah, blah, blah. And that's what this dude was being told by his wife. Encourage her to fulfill her wants and needs outside the marriage. That would be good for the marriage. But Zach told me that he left the marriage counseling after the first 5 minutes. He walked out as soon as the marriage counselor said both the husband and wife were responsible when one of them cheats. Zach said he left and they never went back. Julie made up the details, so she told me about what the marriage counselor told Zach and his wife. That was her attempt to begin a discussion about opening our marriage. Julie also asked for a no-fault post-nuptial agreement last December. I understand now that she wants to do 2 things, postponing a post-nup. One, this is a at-fault state. Having a no-fault post-nup would protect her from the devastating divorce that she would suffer had I found out about her infidelity. And number 2, she would make sure that she would keep for herself the stock she believed she was buying of Richard's new company. I would fund her little nest egg, but she had no plans to share profits from the investment with me. The post-nup would protect her investment from me. She actually thought this boss of hers, who is a serial cheater and sleazy, would actually keep his word. Really? I found out her plans for the new company and her infidelity by hiring a PI. He captured video of my wife, Mia, and Richard in bed with one of the rental properties Richard and Jackie's company manage. Remember in the first story, went in there because it was an empty property, but they installed cameras in there and then got the footage of them up to no good. She was committing adultery with Mia and Richard, but also planned to betray me financially. I confronted her and threw her out on January 31st. I told Jackie that her ex-husband Richard is planning to open a new company and eventually close the company they both own. Richard was planning to steal the clients from their company to take to his new company. His brother would appear to own the new company to hide Richard's involvement from Jackie. Richard would take all the income from the new company. He planned to let the old company die. Jackie would eventually own half of a company that would now be worthless. That brings us up to the current and the end of the last video. It's now a little over 3 weeks and a lot has happened. Yeah, he sent me this story weeks ago, and then after that I eventually got to it. It's been about 2 weeks since I covered part 1 and 2 of this dude's story here. He says, I met with my lawyer that my PI recommended. He is a shark. He began preparing a very flexible divorce settlement for me. Julie calls me and sends texts, but I don't talk to her or respond to her. I read her text, hoping she'll provide the contact information for her lawyer so my lawyer can begin to engage with hers. Regardless, we'll serve her papers when they are ready. Soon. My wife still wants access to the money. I put it in my own account so she can give Richard the $100,000 she promised him, which is very odd. I thought Jackie would stop Richard's plans as soon as I told her what her husband was up to with his new company. Either Richard's new company is still happening or Julie doesn't know it's not. Well, regardless, Julie's about to be toast. As he said he would, Zach called me after he threw his wife out and saw his attorney. His wife is Julie's sister. After my confrontation with Julie, I had called him to tell him about his wife's continued infidelity. I suggested that we should try to support each other in divorces. So he called back and we started having dinners together Fridays after work. Well, good. Got to have a team here, you know. Two heads are better than one. Our first dinner was the Friday after I called him about his wife. I was curious about his reaction when I told him that his wife was still cheating. I expected him to get angry, deny it, argue with me, or at the very least, ask for proof. Instead, I told him that he didn't know about this wife's continued cheating, but would immediately kick her out and see his lawyer. It seemed like he knew already. I'm sure he did, and for whatever reason, he was just turning a blind eye or biding his time while he had a plan. Who knows what was going on there? Zach said he suspected that she was still seeing her boyfriend. He told himself it was just his paranoia. He no longer trusted her, so everything she did seemed suspicious. But she was still acting like the dutiful wife, providing for his every need. She always seemed to be where she should be. Zach had a tracking device put on her phone, and initially, right after he found out she was cheating, he would constantly look at the tracking app. Now, months later, he rarely did. So the wife is on her best behavior putting on the show. But meanwhile, he put a tracker on her phone. But he also looked at the tracking early the day I called him. Her tracking app was off. He called his wife. She said she was at the grocery shopping and the app must not work in the store. Bad phone service, apparently. She told Zach she could barely hear him talking now. She was almost done shopping and would be outside shortly. She'll call when she leaves and he can check the app again then. She didn't call for another 40 minutes. She said the checkout line was really long. Yeah, a 40-minute checkout line? What is this, like the February 2020, the grocery store? Zach told me that he knew she wasn't in the grocery store. He could hear her perfectly when she said she was in the store. There was no background noise except a dog barking. So when I called Zach with the information about his wife's continued infidelity, he knew it was true and not just his paranoia. When he got home from work, he told his wife and kids to get in the car. They all drove to the grocery store and started to check the tracking. It worked perfectly. He told her that they were divorcing. Right in the middle of aisle 3 where the milk is. He got the kids in the car and left his wife crying at the grocery store. He explained to his kids why their parents are divorcing on the drive home. Well, that must have been a miserable car ride. A car ride the kids will never forget. Zach told me he didn't know why he ever took her back. Probably for the kids. The marriage was over when he discovered her infidelity for the first time. This is why you don't take back a cheater, but he had kids and obviously it's a tough situation. He knew he'd never be able to trust her again, but he was still in love with the woman he thought he married. Smack! That's the key word, who he thought he married. All these guys will talk about their past and blah, 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 and how great she was. No, the gal that you ended it with is who you thought, who she is and who you think she is two different people. He thought he would take her back and she'd become that woman again, his loving wife. It took him a while, but he finally figured out that his wife was never that woman. Zach told me his wife was never serious about giving up her boyfriend. She thought she could keep seeing him as long as she didn't shove it in Zach's face. Zach had taken her back when he found out that she was unfaithful the first time. It was clear to me he wasn't going to divorce her. She felt free to do more or less what she wanted. See? That's what happens when there's no consequences. She's like, oh, he still stayed married to me even though I cheated? Okay, I guess I can keep doing what I want to do. Because there was no consequences. It was clear to her that he wasn't going to divorce her. She felt free to do what she wanted. She calculated that as long as she didn't make her cheating obvious and pretend to be the perfect wife, he would stay in the marriage. See, they're master actresses. She figured he loved her so much that she could continue to lie to Zach and he would pretend to believe her lies. If something happened and her cheating did become obvious like it had before, he would get angry and carry on for a while, but he would never divorce her. Divorce was not something she had to worry about. There you go. Now this is all what people figured and connected the dots with, but yeah, human behavior isn't that hard to figure out, guys, once you hear enough of these situations and live long enough. And it doesn't make a difference where you live in the world, your culture, your religion, education, socioeconomic background. People are the same, regardless. Good or bad, or positive or negative. That's a better way to describe it. Zach told me, she told him this when she came back to pick up the kids. I asked why she would tell Zach that. Why not just tell him that she will really stop cheating this time and ask for his forgiveness? Zach said she was actually angry at him. Oh, she's got a lot of nerve. She told Zach they had this implicit agreement about how their marriage would work going forward, and Zach had gone back on this understood but unspoken agreement. What a load of crap. Why had Zach brought up her cheating and threatened her with divorce when everything was going so well? What was wrong with him all of a sudden? Why did Zach want to ruin their happy marriage instead of just continuing to ignore her infidelity? Gaslighting, twisting it around, making him out to be the villain here. When Zach finally finished telling me this, he shook his head in wonder and repeated that his wife was actually mad at him. He supposedly broke this imaginary agreement she thought that they had about being able to cheat. He said he was a fool to take her back and waste another 2 months with her. Reconciliation was just confirming to your cheating wife that she has your permission to continue cheating. Exactly. There was no real consequences. No divorce for her past cheating. And if she was caught cheating again, there'd be no real consequences the next time either. He took her back and that makes her continue cheating. Okay. Right. I asked if his wife was living with her boyfriend. Zach said his wife and 2 children are living with Julie at their parents. Her boyfriend wanted SEX, not a roommate. It was news to me that Julie was at her parents. I expected her to be with Mia or Richard. At that first meeting, I also told Zach about your channel and told him to watch the videos that would help him get through this. Well, welcome, Zach. Others face the same challenge that he and I have. Like me and my brother, he is now a dedicated viewer of your videos. He just wishes he knew about these channels when he first discovered his wife's infidelity. They would have saved him a lot of grief, but he is there now. Well, sooner rather than later, I had so many guys say every day, I must get dozens of comments a day saying, SSM, I wish I had your channel 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Well, 20 years ago, I was making the same mistake. A lot. Not all, but a lot of the mistakes that guys making these stories. But unfortunately, most guys don't have a real good teacher to teach them reality. But now we have YouTube to share these stories with until they kick me off, which I hope never happens. Zach still talks to his wife regarding his kids. Since she's also Julie's sister and they're living together, Zach gets his info about my wife too. Zach's wife tells Zach that Julie is desperate to get the money for Richard's new company. She is hell-bent on that $100,000. You'd think that she owes this money actually. The way she's behaving with this $100,000 investment, it's like she actually owes that money to loan sharks as opposed to investing in this dude's company. I mean, I'm sure this guy has her mind, but still, it's like she has loan sharks after her. They're going to break her legs if, she doesn't get $100,000 to them. Richard is really pressing her for the money. It doesn't make sense to me that the new company is still happening. Jackie should have ended Richard's plans right after I told her about what he was doing. But not my problem. I asked Zach to continue to pass on anything he hears about my wife and her plans. He said that he would. Jackie called me early the following day to tell me about her ex-husband's plan for a new company. Jackie told me she wanted to take me to dinner as a thank you for telling her about Richard's plans. Jackie is the ex-wife that took Richard to the cleaners. I accepted her invitation. Jackie picked a really nice restaurant for dinner. Jackie and I met a few times at company functions. I remember how nice she was to everyone. I forgot how pretty she is. Dude, you gotta nail her. You gotta have her be a part of your plan to get the divorce and bring justice to the world. And if she is remotely attractive like you say she is, you gotta pork her. That makes things even better. We want you to do that. Just wear protection. After some small talk, she asked what prompted me to look for Julie's infidelity and her husband's plans for the new company. I explained that Julie was bugging me about giving Richard money to get the new company started. It would be a gift to Richard and not an investment. Oh, for God's sakes. And that didn't make sense to me. There were also some other things that Julie has done that didn't make any sense either. I told about Julie asking for a Post-Nup and telling me about the benefits of an open marriage that she claimed her sister's therapist was advocating. I hired a PI who figured out what Julie, Richard, and Mia were up to both romantically and financially. These guys that hire private investigators, at the end they always say it was the best money they ever spent. And obviously PIs are very likely not that cheap. But you get what you paid for. I told Jackie I had videos of them in one of the rental properties her company is managing. I explained how we got the videos. She asked if I'm sure it's a property they manage, and I am. Did I have the address of the property of the owner's name? Yes. Could I give her the information and copies of the video? Sure. Why? She told me that the three of them having SCX in a property they manage without the owner's knowledge and permission would get Richard's real estate broker's license canceled. Ho ho ho! That means no company. It would also get Julie and Mia's real estate agent licenses revoked as well. Did I have a problem with that? Not at all. Well, do that after the divorce goes through, because if this happens before, then you're going to be shit out of luck for money. Get the divorce, then they can have it revoked, and then they have to go work at Walmart. No offense to the Walmart workers, but you get my point. Walmart workers are watching this. I'm assuming you're on your way up, not doing it on your way down. Jackie asked what else the PI had told me. I said the PI said that she got half of their current company in the divorce. Richard was opening up a new company so he could hide the profits from her. She would not be part of the new company because she would not know anything about it. If she did find out, the company was in Richard's brother's name, so Richard could continue to claim it wasn't his company. Jackie wouldn't get her share. Richard would take the clients from the old company and Jackie would be left with nothing. I told her I didn't understand why my wife was still looking for the $100K to invest in the new company. Didn't Jackie shut all that down? Jackie said that what I got from the PI wasn't exactly correct. Did I want to hear the whole story? Sure, and here's what she told me. She and Richard met at an association dinner years ago. She owned a property management firm. He owned a larger real estate company. She fell in love. She's pretty sure Richard isn't capable of loving anyone but himself, but she was in love with him. They got married and decided to combine the two companies. He would take care of the real estate part and own 65% of the stock of the company they formed. She'd be in charge of the property management and get 35% of the company combined. She told me that was fair given the relative size of the two original companies. It didn't matter anyway since they were married and would share everything. After her first child was born, and especially after the second child, Jackie and Richard agreed that she should remain a full-time mother and Richard would run the entire company. Aha! So now it's a little more understandable that she got half. All that because part of it was her company. His operation was a little bit bigger, but you get the point. Jackie got a tip from an employee about Richard and Mia and caught them having SCX in a storage room at the office. The divorce settlement gave her the additional 15%. She now has 50% of the company and of the profits. She also gets a salary, some alimony, and child support. Here we are with the sirens. I can't escape them. Her children are older, so she goes into work a few hours a week to keep up what's going on there. Jackie continued that she talked to her lawyer when I told her Richard was opening a competing company. He can't steal clients from their joint company legally. Here's how her lawyer explained it to her. Say my pool guy needed some money to expand and it comes to me to invest. I decide to fund him for half the stock of the company we would create together. I'm a silent partner, things go well, and we're making money. After a while, my partner decides he doesn't need me. I don't deserve any of the profits since he's doing all the work. Instead of an equitable buyout, he decides to open a new company, only one that he would own. He moves the customers to the new company. The customers don't care what the name of the company is as long as the service remains the same. The old company is left with a bunch of debt and no customers, and my original investment is gone. Good for him, bad for me. Exactly. That's not very hard to figure out, and that's exactly what this Richard character is going to do. And in that situation, the ex-wife Jackie would have a worthless company. Jackie continued that that's illegal. My partner has fiduciary responsibilities to me and the company we started together. He can't legally take the established customers from the old company to his new competing company behind my back. In the same way, Richard can't start a new company and steal customers away from the old company. Richard and Jackie that they own together. That's one reason why he's putting the stock for his new company in his brother's name. The other reason the stock is not in Richard's name is that Richard signed a non-compete agreement as part of the divorce. Aha! Richard is legally constrained from competing with Jackie in any way. He can't even be part of any competing company. Jackie said Julie and Mia signed a non-poaching agreement. If either one leaves Jackie's company, they can't actively pursue any of Jackie's current clients for 1 year. As soon as they approach a current client, she can sue them and go after their licenses. You think they would remember these details here? Her clients, of course, can contract whoever they want to manage their property, but Julie and Mia can't actively go after Jackie's current clients. It's very hard to enforce, but with proof they're poaching, Julie and Mia are toast. She can sue all of them as soon as they approach any of her clients about jumping ship. Jackie said Julie has no money. Did I have any money to pay Jackie when she sues Julie? She was smiling, so I said no. I'm living in my car. I can't even afford to pay for this dinner. She asked how much my car is worth, and then she laughed and said, don't worry, she's not going to sue Julie or Mia. She just wants Richard and the two of them gone. I asked why she hasn't done anything about the new company. Why is my wife still looking for the money to get to the new company started? She said the new company's stock is not in Richard's name. That complicates things. If Richard filed paperwork to open a company to compete with hers, and it was clear it was his company, it would already be over with him. But since he's hiding his involvement, she needs confirmation that one of them has approached one of her current clients to get them to move over to the new company. She has to wait for one of them to actively pursue one of her clients. So sit back and watch them screw up. What happens then? If it is Richard who approaches a current client, she'll use that to take the remaining stock of the old company and throw him out. If it is Mia or Julie who approach any of her current clients, she'll threaten whoever made the approach with revoking their realtor's license and a lawsuit unless they turn on Richard. But to start approaching her clients, the new company has to be up and running. It's not yet. They don't have the money to get started. So they got to have him do this whole thing, then she can strike all of them. Okay. Which means that he's going to have to give the wife $100,000 to get started, to make this whole plan work, and then he can get a sweet divorce. I'm seeing how all the dots are connecting here. Jackie said she could have told Richard she's onto him and shut his plans down, but she wants Richard out of the company they own together. She wants all the stock, and his foolishness is the way she'll do it. I told Jackie that Richard's plan to raid Jackie's company were spelled out in text among Richard, Julie, and Mia. I said I saw them on Julie's cell phone, but I didn't think to copy the text. She said, don't worry, she'll get everything she needs in the discovery if they end up going to court. It's good to know that they were stupid enough to document their plans in texts. Dumb criminals. But you probably won't need them. They just have to get up and running and start approaching her clients. Then they are finished. I asked her about her needing a licensed broker to be able to continue functioning as a property management company. How does she get around it if she gets rid of Richard? Jackie said she is a licensed broker. Well, perfect. And she does not need Richard. While she waits for them to approach her clients, Jackie has her salary, alimony, child support, and her share of the profits. She's not hurting at all. She's in no hurry, but she's tired of Richard's games and wants him gone, along with his girlfriends, my wife, Julie, and Mia. We talked a little about Julie and the end of my marriage, and the end of her marriage. She told me she always thought Julie was involved with Richard too, but when she caught Richard and Mia, that's all she needed. I asked why Mia is still working for the company. Why wasn't she fired when Jackie discovered she was having an affair with Richard? And she said that she should have fired Mia, but Mia is good at her job and she really doesn't care anymore about Richard's love life. She got what she wanted out of the divorce. But now Richard, Julie, and Mia are trying to take food out of her children's mouths. Her company is her only means of support, and they want to destroy it. The three of them have to go. You're darn right about that. It was a very pleasant dinner. Jackie is very smart, funny, and attractive. Oh, dude, you gotta nail her. When everything's done, of course. I enjoy her company. I said that we should make dinner plans together a regular thing, and she said she'd like that. Nothing romantic, of course. Oh, we'll see about that down the road. It's too soon for me, and I'm still married. I didn't need Julie coming after me for infidelity, but Jackie is someone to think about. Well, all jokes aside, you shouldn't be involved with anybody until after you're divorced, and you do a lot of working on yourself, my man. Then you can pork her all you want later on down the road. Julie got a lawyer. Well, it's about time. And texted me with her info. Julie's insisting on getting access to the money. She wants to get Richard the $100,000 to get to her piece of his new company. She can't wait. She needs the money now. I explained to my lawyer what Richard, Julie, and me are planning, and that Jackie will shut it down as soon as they start it up. He asked how important to Julie this money is for the startup. I said it was all she wanted to talk about before I threw her out. Her text and voice messages to me are evenly divided between telling me on the one hand how much she loved me, that she can explain, and on the other hand, her demanding the money. The money is all she can think about. She believes this is her big chance. My lawyer said that we should use her concern about losing out on Richard's new business to get a really good divorce settlement. Exactly. This will give you the ability to get great terms because she wants that money as fast as possible. They told me to come with the cash amount to give to Julie, which I think will get her to sign the divorce agreement. She gets the money and nothing else. We'll tell her we'll give her a certified check for the amount we agree upon when she signs the agreement. She'll give up all claims to everything else. He asked if I understood that the $100,000 she gives Richard will be lost. It will buy her nothing. Was I okay with that? I said it will be her money to waste as she pleases. Exactly. $100,000 is a small price to pay if you have plenty of other money, of course, and you can get the terms you want in the divorce. Now, if all he had was $100,000 and there was nothing else, then it'd be a shitty deal. But obviously, this guy has more than $100,000, and I'm guessing a house, and I can't remember if he has. I don't think he has kids. I can't remember honestly. And to get the best terms, because then she'll be done. That's the best way to go about it, you know. But still, I still would be hurting me giving that $100,000 over to her. But that's what has to be done. So be it. So guys, this is where I'm going to end this part here, part 3. And I'll be doing part 4 in a couple hours to continue on how this whole thing goes, and it's pretty good. See you then.